The Sports Time Podcast.
All right, I'm pleased to be joined by Connor Smith and Kevin Luehrs of the Fairway Heaters podcast. How's it going, guys?
Doing well, man.
It's going good, man. I'm pumped for a great week of U.S. Open golf. And it's, by the way, it's the Fairway Heaters Talking golf podcast. Sorry for the correction. Had to do it.
Oh, okay. No problem. That was my bad. So you guys, of course, are a golf podcast. But first, if you want to tell us more about your podcast, how it works, and, if you like when you record and stuff like that, if you guys just want to give a rundown of that real quick.
Yeah, I'll give it out there. I mean, I know the listeners are just seething at the mouth, waiting to hear my take and prediction for this week's U.S. Open. But I would love to talk about a podcast that was derived in the middle of a pandemic. My Connor Smith, my co-host, is my cousin. He's 25 years old, recent graduate of Kansas. Fraternity guy, has a great perspective on what it's like being a young and up and coming professional in the landscape of America these days. And then you got me, a 37-year-old retired frat guy who went to Florida State University and has two kids, who's on his second marriage. And we just we both of us love golf. And that's really, we're passionate about it. We come from a family that everyone golfs. And that's really it, man. It's just two guys kind of talking about life and, talking about golf. And it's not in a stuffy way. We talk about it. That's like more of I think that all of us can more relate to, because golf can be a little stuffy, can be a little weird. Goofy pants and fat ass, as Happy Gilmore said. But we're not that way at all. So.
Yeah. And, we're all about growing the game of golf over at our podcast. And I think there's a new wave and generation of people coming through, and we just want to do everything we can to help grow the game and show how this sport can be cool. It can be social. It can be fun for, everyone to get together and go hit the ball around. So, thanks for having us on, and let's talk some U.S. Open.
Yeah, no problem. Of course, the U.S. Open, one of the bigger majors. It's probably the second or third behind the Masters and Open Championship, but it's still a really big event. Let's just start off right away with it. Bryce DeChambeau won last year. Do you guys think he can get a repeat this year?
Nope. Phil Mickelson is going to win. That's my prediction. I think Bryson, and by the way, but you can't rank the majors, dude. It's a major championship. And that's the great thing. I mean, although I do personally think the Masters is number one, but the other, and I think British and US Open are number 2 and 3, and then the PGA is last. But either way, that's the cool thing about golf, dude, is you've got basically 4 Super Bowls annually to watch, because each one is just historically has so much implications, so much, folklore, and the fans get behind it. It's awesome. But I think Bryson DeChambeau, can he repeat? No. I think Bryson DeChambeau is not playing good golf. I think this whole Brooks Koepka fake controversy that I think is maybe he's a little too focused on it. But I do believe Phil Mickelson is going to do something magical, historic, and we're all going to look back on this and cry when we're telling our grandkids about this, and he's going to win back-to-back majors and close out the Grand Slam.
Well, I think Bryson has all the tools in his bag to repeat at the U.S. Open, especially how far he hits the ball. And, we can really overpower courses. Do I think he can do it at Torrey Pines this week? Maybe not. It's hard to repeat. Especially with everything off the course right now. It's a lot of mental wear and tear on, worrying about the whole Brooks Koepka thing. And
well, I wouldn't say it's that much mental wear and tear. I mean, but go on. This is where we disagree often on the show.
Yeah, but it's gonna be difficult for him to do it. But I think he's gonna have a good week. I think he's gonna make a good run at it, maybe a top 15 finish if I had to put my money where my mouth is. But I don't think Torrey Pines is the course for Bryson this week.
Yeah, and I mean, my dad is actually a fan of Bryson DeChambeau, but I was kind of wondering because last year he won it with it was pretty low score, I think, that he won last year at Wingfoot. But You just mentioned it, Kevin, kind of that rivalry between Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka. Why don't they like each other, and how did this rivalry become a rivalry, I guess?
Well, I mean, I followed golf over the years, and of course, I'm born in America, so you follow the American golfers that are the next up and coming. You kind of, you always are paying attention to how they're progressing, what they're doing, who they're playing with, tournament by tournament, and Bryson is notoriously a slow player. So Brooks Koepka, not a traditionalist in terms of the overall, golf, how you approach the game of golf. I mean, he's made several comments about how, he loses interest in a round. So anyway, so Brooks really doesn't favor that. And that's really, they were paired together in a round, and Brooks was kind of frustrated with DeChambeau's slow play. Anyway, personally, man, I think the whole Brooks DeChambeau, controversy is completely fake. I think it is all because the PGA Tour has announced a new compensation system where they're going to be ranking players' social media impact, and they're going to be paying them from 1 to 40. So, just kind of like we're collabing right now, or a social media group would collab with somebody. Why wouldn't you, as a player, collab with somebody and create a controversy? It's kind of like WWE, UFC, whatever. So I really don't buy into it. Maybe there's some minor dislike, but dude, these guys are millionaires. Brooks has got a hot wife. DeChambeau's probably got, a bunch of hotties on speed dial. They don't care, man. I think they're making millions of dollars, and they're like, heck, if we could create some sort of controversy, let's make more. And if I was both of their agents, I would definitely be having this conversation with knowing that, hey, there's a new compensation system. Let's get our guys a part of it. They're the two best young American players. PGA Tour is trying to connect with young people through social media. Let's do that. So that's my take. That's my fairway heater take.
Do you have a take on that, Connor?
About the rivalry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually really polar opposite of what Kevin thinks on this. I genuinely think that there's a hatred between Brooks and Bryson. I think it's very, it's organically grown through this whole process of just them over the years of, Brooks accusing Bryson of maybe doing steroids, not really, maybe. And I think that everything Bryson does just annoys Brooks, and Brooks is kind of like that, in my mind, that schoolyard bully who just is annoyed with that new up and coming guy, and kind of taking the light away from him a little bit. And it's interesting. They allegedly, the USGA asked Bryson to be paired with Brooks this week and on Thursday and Friday, and he declined, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not, but if that is, that's pretty soft on Bryson's end. But let me jump in there. I don't think the USGA ever, I may be wrong on this, has ever asked a player if they want to be paired together. They just do it. So I think that's bullshit. Sorry for the curse word, but I do not. USGA does not ask if they're going to pair people together. They don't say, "Hey, Tiger, do you want to play with Phil this week?" They just do it. Yeah. I mean, that is also true. I don't see why the USGA would ask. Maybe because of the new generation of social media and everything, and maybe it would have caused a lot of drama. I don't know. But that being said, it'd be interesting. I really hope they get paired this weekend. I hope there's a situation where there's no way possible for any of them to decline. And I think the ratings would go up. It'd be really good for golf. And, I hope Sunday it's Brooks and Bryson coming out in 18.
Well, how about they just perform well and play together and naturally create a rivalry? How about that?
Yeah.
How about they both just step up and be men and play good golf like Tiger and Phil did for years?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. I mean, and Brooks, I actually have the quote right here. It's like, Brooks is saying, I play my own game. I don't care who I'm paired with. Makes a difference to me. I think that's, Brooks wants to just play with whoever, win majors, and not show up in any other tournament. And that's Brooks.
Speaking of Brooks Koepka, now, Kevin, you mentioned you think Phil Mickelson's going to win it, but how well do you think Brooks Koepka does this week at the U.S. Open?
Man, it's so tough with him. He's obviously, it's noted and everybody's aware of how his injuries that he's been struggling with his knee. I mean, the Masters, he was, he couldn't even squat down to putt, but he, I was proud of him for sacking up and playing in a major. And then in the PGA, obviously he kind of shit the bed, playing with Phil, and really did not show up in that final group having a great chance. And the guy's 51 years old. Brooks Koepka, in the prime of his athletic career, let a 51-year-old man beat him. But after that round, after the PGA, and I listened to him talk, you kind of could sense that this guy laid it all on the line, and he was in a lot of pain, and it was a struggle for him. So the big question is how healthy is he? If the guy's healthy, I mean, he's one of the most dominant players out there. But if his knee is still balky and he's still, struggling with that, I can't see him for 4 days, not to mention the practice rounds and the driving range and all the stuff you do in a tournament, to be, engaged in terms of prepared to hit all shots at every time of the round. I think it's a little too much for him, man, with a knee injury like that. I think, Tiger is probably one of the only guys who's been able to just gut it out through injuries and win majors. And shoot, he did it with a broken leg. He won the U.S. Open. So I don't know, man. You like to see the big names compete. You like to see, as an American, you like to see the American golfers compete. But I don't know, man. It would be tough for me to see him show up this week, especially as hilly as Torrey Pines is. That's a tough walk.
Yeah. No, I agree with Kevin with the whole injury thing. I think I saw a video today of, I think someone caught him limping up some stairs, actually. I'm 95% sure that was from this week at Torrey Pines. But, I mean, put himself in contention at the PGA with an injury, which that's in itself is pretty incredible. He's going to do whatever it takes to be in contention for a major. So I don't see why what's really stopping him this week is, honestly, is there any lingering knee injury? Maybe. We don't know. I don't think he's going to necessarily disclose that until after the majors. But you can't ever count out Brooks Koepka in a major. And I just think he has that switch to really turn it on when he needs to. And it's going to be interesting to see how his knee holds up and how his injury holds up. But, he did it at the PGA a couple of weeks ago. I would love to see him do it again this week.
Yeah, he did it. He choked. Connor and I do not like. I mean, I'm not a big Brooks Koepka fan. Connor is in love with him. So I always have to slide in any type of criticism on Brooks Koepka when I can.
It will definitely be interesting to see how it goes. And I'm kind of wondering this, but do you guys think there's a dark horse this year that could come out of nowhere and be in contention and maybe even possibly win this year's U.S. Open?
Well, I don't think he's necessarily a dark horse, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zalatoris did it. He's finished top 10 in every major he's competed in this year, if I'm correct. Finished second at the Masters. I mean, he better eat something before he starts playing. That guy weighs 110 pounds. I mean, unless Torrey Pines wins, blow him into the ocean, I don't see why he won't be in contention. I'm trying to think of another someone that's just.
I've got one. My dark horse is Phil Mickelson, because I don't think no one else is winning this tournament. Phil Mickelson is winning it. He's a legend. That's my dark horse is Phil. My prediction is Phil Mickelson, and my dark horse is Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, but maybe a guy, if you look at a guy like Victor Hovland, he's playing some good golf right now. I don't necessarily think he's a dark horse. I don't think anyone would be surprised if he won. But I think
how about Matt Jones? I'm going with Matt Jones, my dark horse. Matt Jones, Honda Classic winner. Is he even in the field? I'm going with Matt. I'm taking Matt Jones, my boy, Mike Jones.
Yeah, and you guys recently mentioned Victor Hovland. I feel like he's going to be a pretty good young up-and-coming golfer, similar to Will Zalatoris. And I remember when Will Zalatoris finished second at the Masters, I think he had more press than, he had a lot of press. Like, I was kind of surprised by how much press he got. So let's jump on to another golfer that didn't make this year's cut. He's probably my favorite golfer, Rickie Fowler. It seems like his game has completely gone south, except he had when he played at the PGA Champion, he had a decent finish. What do you think his problem is, and do you think there's a chance for him to actually win a major in his career?
Dude, I feel so bad that, like, Bryson, your dad's favorite golfer, and I kind of ripped him. And then Rickie Fowler, your favorite. I'm just like ripping apart your family because I'm about to just rip Rickie. I'm sorry. Although I did name my firstborn son Kevin Bryson Luehrs. So, and I did it actually kind of an homage to Bryson. Anyway, back to Rickie. So Rickie Fowler, Connor hit it right in the head. Too many sponsors. I mean, I think the guy is enjoying being Rickie Fowler. That's really it. I mean, his agent has done a phenomenal job. I mean, his agent, I would seriously hire him to do any type of legal work if you're to promote myself or anybody, because the guy took somebody who hasn't won a major, who's just kind of marketable, friendly, good-looking dude, and packaged all that up and sold it to numerous companies, Mercedes, Rocket Mortgage, God knows who else. And so Rickie, liked that fame. And then what happened? He got a ridiculously hot girlfriend who he married. She's like some pole vaulter that is, she's a 10. And I think he just kind of is like, you know what, man, being me is pretty good. And he's kind of I think he lost his edge a little bit. That's number one. And then the second thing with him is I think his swing mechanics. Yeah, he's gone through some big swing changes. And when he came out on tour, the big thing with him was, okay, this kid's powerful. He's young. He's compact. He's got a very explosive swing for a guy his size. But he's putting a tremendous amount of torque on his back. Is this swing going to be able to hold up, as he gets into his 30s? And is it going to be repeatable? And it wasn't. It hasn't been. So he's going through some big swing changes. And I think those swing changes, when you go through and you overhaul a swing, your swing, the way you play golf, that takes a couple of years. I mean, Tiger's gone through it. There's a lot of great. So I think Rickie will be back. I think he'll get that one major. I really do. I think he'll get one major, kind of like Sergio got his one major. And he'll kind of always just be that player that's hanging around tournaments. But that's my take on Rick. I think he's just a little fat and happy with life right now. Not literally, more figuratively. And I think he's on the way back up. And some of this stuff where he's not playing in majors, getting special exemptions, the PGA. I think that's if you're an athlete, a competitor, which if you're playing golf, you got to have some level of competitiveness in you. It's got to fire him up a little bit. And his hot wife's probably looking at him like, look, dude, like, why did I marry you? You're not even playing in the major. I mean, so there's got to be some motivation for him. But I think Rickie will be back. Yeah,
I think Rickie has every tool in the bag to. I mean, you've seen it so many times. He's been so close so many times. If you look at every golfer's career, a lot of, they go through downs. They go through ups and highs and lows. And right now he's going through a low. I think there's a lot of, I'm not a professional golfer, so I don't know how to cope with this stuff, but the distractions off the course, I see him on a new commercial, I feel like every weekend on the PGA Tour. That's taken away from a lot of golf practice and preparation and stuff. I'll close it out for you. Rickie is on the way back.
Yeah, and I feel like back was it in 2014 or 2015, he finished, I want to say, in the top 5 in all the majors, which was pretty crazy. And I felt like that he was on the rise and then just kind of nothing has really materialized for him. And I think, was it Nick Faldo that called him out and said maybe he should be on another, if he wasn't on like 5 commercials a week. So yeah, I definitely understand what you guys are saying. Let's go back to this year, or the people that are playing, or the golfers that are playing the US Open right now. Do you think there's a golfer that will do, or that is hot right now, but will really struggle this year?
That's hot right now and will really struggle. I mean, Phil Mickelson. I think Phil Mickelson is hot and he's going to struggle. Obviously, he's 51 years old. There's no way that he could keep this up. I mean, it's amazing. I hope he can. I think he, after he wins this week, and, I'm hired by all the major sports agencies and networks because I'm just like a Nostradamus of major championship predictions. I think Phil will just get fat again and just say, screw it, because like, this is, I gave it all I got. But in a more serious vein, I think there's some guys out there that have been playing well, like Jason Kokrak. I never pronounce his name right. He's been competing a lot in tournaments, and I think that he's a guy that is definitely going to fall off. I mean, he's been in the top 10 in the last 3 or 4 tournaments, or top 15 or something like that. So he kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, he's a consistent player, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep it up. But as far as like big name guys, I mean, I don't really see anybody. There's nobody really blowing the doors off the tour this year, in terms of you can point to, but then say, hey, like, wow, what a year he's having. In my opinion, Jordan Spieth's playing well, but I don't think he's going to fade. I think he's on the way back. So yeah, there's nobody really that. I mean, I know I keep saying Phil Mickelson, but that's kind of what I think he's my A, B, and C answer right now for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hottest name right now on tour, the hottest guy is probably Zalatoris, if you really want to look at it like that.
Hot.
I don't see why he can't keep this up. But like I said, like a couple minutes ago, everyone goes to their lows, and I think, his name's going to kind of fade a little bit if he doesn't win. I think he needs a win, and I don't necessarily think he can keep placing top 10 in like all these major tournaments all the time. And I think once that starts happening, he's kind of going to fade off a little bit. Maybe people are going to start, they're just going to remember him as the guy who played in his first Masters and almost won it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. It's a great name to throw out there because, he's young and dumb. Let's call it that way. Young and dumb. That's when you're 22 years old, 21 years old, you don't really have a lot of life experience. You haven't really made a lot of mistakes. You really haven't had a lot of fuck ups. And when you make mistakes in life, you really kind of like cloud your head with maybe some regret, some bad thoughts, some bad swing thoughts. And golf is a mental game, man. You got to be confident. And I saw a guy out there at the Masters that looked just like, he was unconscious, like they had nothing. He was just young and dumb, like, I'm playing the Masters, hitting great shots, making putts. But, as soon as to give him more time, like, I'm not even talking a lot of time, the fame, the fortune, the pressure. And then when he wakes up and looks himself in the mirror and realizes, oh man, I haven't won anything. I haven't won a major. I haven't won a tournament. I barely have my tour card. That's when I think that guy's going to have some problems because, yeah, I mean, I like his golf swing. I like his putting stroke, but I don't like his putting stroke. So I think the guy's going to have some problems. So yeah, Connor, that was a really good one. I wish I would have thought of that, but that's why you're a smarter golf analyst than me.
What about a guy like Hideki Matsuyama? He won the Masters about a month or 2 months ago. What do you think he'll do this year or at this tournament?
Yeah, I think he'll lose to Phil Mickelson. I think that's what's going to happen ultimately. But Hideki, like, he's a machine, dude. I mean, that guy was basically touted the Michael Jordan of golf coming out of Japan. I mean, Tiger Woods was commenting on him when he was very young, like, hey, watch out for this guy. This guy is going to be somebody who's going to be on the tour and somebody you have to contend with for years. So Hideki is like a god. I mean, when he won the Masters this year, for God's sake, they posted in the newspaper, the country newspaper, because I mean, probably in Japan, newspapers are still relevant. Every hole charted out of every shot he hit on like a full page ad. And I mean, so he is like they gave him like the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor for winning the Masters. I mean, I think Hideki, in my opinion, is like kind of just like he's achieved his Super Bowl. Like he got the one Super Bowl that Dan Marino got or never got. He got the one championship that Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley never got. I think that's it for him, man. I think we're not really going to hear much from Hideki anymore. And then there's going to be like one tournament he rolls out and he's like 260 and just fat and just like hitting. He's going to be the guy playing in the Masters when he's like 50 and he's going to shoot like 93.
Do you have anything with that, Connor?
I think Kevin covered that one pretty well. I mean, I don't even, did he even answer your question?
I don't even think I did. I don't even think I did.
To answer your question, I think he makes the cut this week, but just because I mean he's got every God gift talent, in the world, he'll make the cut. But I just don't see him playing that well. I mean, I can't remember the last tournament he's played in since the Masters. I mean, I know he went back to Japan and everything, so I don't really know what his golf game's like right now.
I think he played a Colonial. He did play well in a tournament. I can't remember what tournament it was, but he did play well. He did look like he gained a little weight. I mean, just to back up, but but he's going to be good for a few years. So I don't think he'll win again. Or win this tournament, or he will make the cut. I agree with you, Connor, on that.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy the way he won, because after he won, I think he went to back to Japan with his green jacket on, which I thought was kind of funny. Like he went on the airplane with his green jacket.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. All right. So again, I'm probably going to bet this week on the U.S. Open. Do you guys have any advice for me on or who to bet for?
Well, Kevin's going to say Phil Mickelson. You guys think we got that one covered? But yeah, I got something for you here. I think put some money. Matthew Wolff hasn't been playing well this year, but that's always a good value pick because, he's been playing awful, but that Matthew Wolff can come out and he can perform and he can play some good golf, major championship level golf. And then I think a guy that, everyone's talking about Phil, Xander, Brooks, Bryson, but a lot of people are forgetting about, one of the best golfers in the world, and that's Justin Thomas. I forget what his value is right now, what his odds are, but I think they're pretty good for Justin Thomas standards. And I think that a guy like him can really make something shake this weekend out at Torrey Pines.
Yeah, I love that Justin Thomas pick because he won the Players this year, and Connor and I were watching that tournament, and I was like, man, this guy, after he won that tournament in like commanding fashion, I was like, this guy's winning a major this year. So I think JT is a great pick. I like Louis Oosthuizen. He's a major champion, always contends. You'll get some great odds on him. I always pick Louis and going into any major because he's an under the radar guy and he's won a major and he plays great golf. He's mentally tough. He's always right there. That's a good pick. And you always go with the standards. Jordan Spieth, he's playing such great golf, and every time the guy always has me shaking my head, going, God, this guy is he's got that intangible of that great golfers have. So you can never put it past him to show up big in the U.S. Open because he's won. He's won. How many U.S.? I think he's won 2 U.S. Opens. And then obviously, the god of golf himself, Phil Mickelson. I mean, it's a slam dunk. That you can take that to the bank. Tell your wife you're buying a new house, and let's go, Phil, all the way.
All right. Again, thanks for coming on, guys. Unfortunately, I got to cut this interview short, but you guys told me, where are you guys all at on social media? Is it Instagram, Twitter, or?
Yeah. So we're all over. We're on Twitter at Fairway Heaters, Instagram, at Fairway Heaters, and our TikTok is at Fairway Heaters Golf. And then YouTube is Fairway Heaters Talking Golf Podcast. So, we're on the major platforms, and, we're
pumping content, and we've got some shows coming out. We release episodes like every other week, Connor?
Right now we're doing
our schedule right now.
Yeah, right now we're doing every other week. So we drop on Wednesdays, and if you guys want some lighthearted, unfiltered golf talk, tune on in.
All right. Again, thanks for coming on, guys. I'll definitely check the podcast out. And again, thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Go Phil. Thanks, man. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Town Podcast, or the STP Pod for short. If you want to check out more videos of the Sports Town Podcast, click on the left. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click on the right.